Pakistan tribal areas, they moved to other areas, other cities of Pakistan like Karachi, Islamabad, Rawalpindi, and others. So after these operations, Pakistan, faced serious challenges, and Pakistan had to face these challenges. So let's quickly analyze the challenges after, in the post 9/11 situation, which Pakistan faced actually. So you have to, analyze all these things in a smart manner. So you will give a heading of, threat matrix in Afghanistan in the post 9/11 situation, in which you are going to smartly talk about the main terrorist outfits which pose serious threat to Pakistan. For example, TTP, it emerged in 2007 in Pakistani tribal areas. It was a conglomeration of 40 terrorist groups, and they aimed at Pakistan, and they wanted Pakistan army to leave tribal areas of Pakistan. So they carried out serious threats against Pakistan. Carried out serious attacks against Pakistani security forces and civil, you can say, assets. So this was the first security threat to Pakistan. Number two was ISKP, Islamic State Khurasan province. This particular group emerged after 2015, and they had, they are the offshoot of, ISIS in Middle East, in Iraq and Syria, and they opened their branch in this region also. So this group is called Islamic State Khurasan province. KP means Khurasan province. The IS considered this region, India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Central Asia, as Khurasan. They name it Khurasan. So their chapter in this region is called Khurasan province. So they also pose serious challenge to Pakistan. And recently, I think day before yesterday, they killed some, Hazaras and others in Balochistan, and they also carried out many attacks in Afghanistan as well. Another terrorist group after 9/11, which came to Pakistan, was Etiham, East Turkestan Islamic Movement. This particular group is basically Chinese. They are the Chinese origin people, and they are, from Xinjiang province of China. So they were in Afghanistan after 9/11, and when America pushed these people from Afghanistan, so along with Taliban and others, they came to Pakistani tribal areas. So they also posed challenge to Pakistan, and they were involved in many killings of Chinese engineers and doctors in Pakistan. Lashkar-e-Jhangvi is another terrorist group which targets Shias. They target minorities, Ahmadis, and Christians, and they also carried out many high-profile attacks against Pakistani security forces. So they are also in alliance with Al-Qaeda and TTP. Al-Qaeda, of course, is a dominant group, and they were a very dominant group before 9/11. But after 9/11, when they came to Pakistan, Pakistan played havoc with them, and so they were also posing challenge to us, and they are still active in Pakistan and Afghanistan. Then you got Islamic Movement of Uzbekistan. They were the Islamic, they were Uzbek militants, and they originated in Central Asia, in the Fergana Valley, which is a tri-border area along with Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, and Kyrgyzstan. And then you got Jamaat-ul Ahrar, which is the offshoot of TTP. This is another terrorist organization which has carried out many attacks against Pakistani security forces and civilians. Okay, so these were the challenges which Pakistan faced after 9/11. And to overcome these challenges, to curb these challenges, and Pakistan carried out many military operations, starting with Operation Al-Mizan in 2006. And after that, Pakistan conducted some very high profile operations, comprehensive military operations, especially after 2015. Operation Zarb-I-Azb was Pakistan's main military operation, which eradicated terrorist network in Pakistani tribal areas, and it was focused on North Waziristan Agency, which had a border with Afghanistan's host province. So that was the ultimate major military operation which Pakistan conducted. Along with that, Operation Khyber 1, 2, and 3, they were focused on Pakistani Khyber Agency, which was again a very remote agency which had border with Nangarhar province of Afghanistan. So both these operations were on in tribal areas. The third major military operation during the General Bajwa time was focused on urban centers of Pakistan, and that was Operation Raddul Fasad. Operation Raddul Fasad focused on the sleeper cells of the militants in the urban areas. Now, what are the sleeper cells? Sleeper cells are actually the small units of larger terrorist organization, like, for example, TTP. They had, when they were kicked out from Pakistan tribal areas, they moved to Afghanistan, Nuristan, and Kunard provinces. And from there, they were controlling things in Pakistan. So they had smaller units hiding in Pakistani urban centers. Like, for example, 7 or 8 people, they had a small gang and they were hiding in Pakistani areas like Lahore, Peshawar, Karachi. And whenever it suited them, they used to carry out an attack. So it was necessary for Pakistani security forces to carry out operations against these sleeper cells. And Operation Radul Fasad actually focused on these groups. All Pakistani security agencies, ISI, MI, IB, Army, Air Force, Navy, their intelligence agencies, and all intelligence agencies of Pakistan, they conducted, synchronized military operations, intelligence-based operations, which are called IBOs, against all these terrorist groups. And ultimately, Alhamdulillah, overall Pakistan conducted more than 75,000 IBOs, intelligence-based operations, in Pakistani urban centers, major cities in Punjab and others, and in which thousands of militants were captured and hundreds of them were killed, and of course their network was eradicated from these areas. So in a nutshell, Pakistan brought stability in Pakistan. Pakistani security forces brought stability. After that, the major Pakistan's you can say success was against Al-Qaeda. After 9/11, Pakistan killed and captured hundreds of Al-Qaeda militants. Like, for example, Abu Zubaydah, he was captured in Pakistan. Bin al-Shab, he was captured in Karachi. Now, he was the actually big fish, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. Now, he was the person, as I told you before, who planned 9/11 attacks against America. And he was the operational commander of Al-Qaeda. Osama bin Laden was just a retired person, but he was the person who was actually the mastermind of 9/11, and he was also involved in the killing of American journalist Daniel Pearl in 2002. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed was captured by ISI in 2003, and later on he was handed over to the US for further interrogation. So now he's in the custody of the US. So actually the 9/11 planner was captured by Pakistan, and from this person, Pakistan got the information about Osama bin Laden's courier. I hope you know about the couriers. In intelligence agencies, they use couriers. They don't use mobile phones, they don't use internet, they don't use other things because they are traceable. They use couriers, a person, and they convey that information in person to that person, and that person takes information to other commander, other leader. So in this way, this information does not leak. So courier of Osama bin Laden was Al-Kuwaiti, whose information came from Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, and Pakistan shared that information in 2003 with America, and America later on traced Al-Kuwaiti, and ultimately they traced Al-Kuwaiti to Abbottabad, Peshawar, and then he came to Abbottabad to meet Osama bin Laden, and ultimately they took Osama in 2012. So this was a simple, background. Other than Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, there is a huge list of, Al-Qaeda people who were killed and captured in Pakistan. And this was a huge success of Pakistan after 9/11. And Pakistan proved to be, fruitful. And no other country in the world played such a role which Pakistan played. So there's a long list of, Al-Qaeda men who were captured in Pakistan. Secondly, Pakistan's Operation Zarb-I-Azb, as I told you before, was comprehensive military operation which targeted the, Al-Qaeda and Etiham and Punjabi Taliban, TTP, their den in, North Uzbekistan agency, especially in Mirali. Let's understand, first of all, let me give you a snapshot of North Uzbekistan agency. North Uzbekistan agency was the last agency which was not, which was not cleared by militants, by Pakistani army. It had three parts: Mirali, Miran and the Dakhel. Mirali actually was the area where TTP and other anti-Pakistan militants were hiding, like TTIM, Punjabi Taliban, and others. And Miran was the place where Haqqani network and Afghan Taliban, they were hiding. And the third place was Data Khel, where Hafiz Gul Bahadur, another Pakistani Taliban commander, but he was not focused on Pakistan. He was focused on Afghanistan. So he was considered as good Taliban, you can say. So, but Operation Zarb-I-Azb focused on all these militants, all these groups, and it was decided by General Rahil to wipe out all sorts of militants, all sorts of terrorist organization, whether they are good or bad. Um, this operation was launched on all these people. So actually, in this particular operation, Pakistan cleared ID factories. Tons of IDs were recovered. IDs mean improvised explosive devices, explosive material, and training centers of Al-Qaeda. They were demolished, and TTP run media centers were dismantled, because from there they used to carry out psychological warfare against Pakistan. So, in a nutshell, their whole network was, removed from this tribal area. And huge quantity of arms and ammunition was recovered. According to Major General Zafarullah Khatak, who was the commander-in-chief of these operations, these weapons, this explosive was enough for 2 years if they carry out daily 5 suicide attacks. And this material, this explosive material, could kill more than 84,000 more Pakistanis. So it was a huge success of Pakistan, and they eradicated these people, they killed these people from so it was a huge success. Operation Zarb-I-Azb, it killed more than 3,400 terrorists, and most of the areas were recovered from militants. Okay, so what was the Pakistan paid a huge cost for peace and stability in tribal areas. What was the cost? The cost, according to State Bank, was $118 billion. We lost $118 billion in this war against terror. According to Imran Khan, recently he said that we lost more than $200 billion. Why? Because most of the people, they moved their business from Pakistan. The FDI was stopped, and we faced momentous losses. Other than that, we also lost 7,000 soldiers in this war against terror. Along with that, we also faced 80,000 casualties of innocent Pakistanis. There were hundreds and thousands of IDPs from these agencies, and of course, the psychological impact which Pakistani nation faced for 19 years were also it cannot be ignored. So the cost was great, and after paying this cost, Pakistan was able to establish itself. So what was the impact of Pakistan's counter-terror efforts? Main three things. Number one, Pakistan got its economic stability. CPEC came after that. Saudis, UAE, many other countries, they approached Pakistan for investment, and they are going to invest billions of dollars in Pakistan. Like, for example, Saudis have committed about $20 billion. They are going to open a refinery in Gwadar. UAE also has committed about $3 billion. Many other countries are approaching Pakistan, like Russia and Iran. So this was the economic stability which Pakistan saw after that. Secondly, Pakistan's overall security situation also improved, because before that we used to face attacks on daily basis, but after that there was full-time sukoon. So Pakistan also brought stability in Pakistan, overall Pakistan. Global image also restored. The Americans, they acknowledged that Pakistani military operations, like for example Operation Zarb-I-Azb, has actually disrupted the Haqqani network. And no doubt about it, because they were using Pakistani tribal areas as a base for their operations in Afghanistan. But because of Pakistani military operations, their operations for the time being, they were disrupted. But after moving to Afghanistan, they reestablished themselves there, and now they are again very strong. China has always appreciated Pakistan's counter-terror efforts. Russia, first time Russia has also, they also appreciated Pakistan's counter-terror efforts. So in a nutshell, Pakistan's global image was restored after 9/11, especially after these military operations in 2015. Um, but despite all these things, Pakistan faced terrorist attacks. Like, for example, Bacha Khan University was attacked, Pakistani Training Center, Police Training Center in Quetta was attacked, and we also saw many attacks against, minorities and other people across Pakistan. What was the reason? The reason was Afghanistan, because we removed all sorts of terrorist groups from Pakistan, like for example TTP. We pushed TTP out of from Pakistan tribal areas to Afghanistan. From there, they used to plan and they used to organize attacks against Pakistan. So until or unless Afghanistan is not secured, we cannot have peace in Pakistan.